Hello and welcome to yet another package of our weekly tonic show, the Sunday Magazine. I am Mariam George Jitbo. We have quite a lineup of interesting stories on today's episode. We'll be bringing you messages from the pulpit where clergy advise Christians to imbibe the spirit of thanksgiving, irrespective of other battles and struggles of life. Other human interest stories like the retirement ceremony of Mr. Kennedy of the National Orientation Agency, as well as our regulars, entertainment news and weekly news wrap. Do stay with the program. We shall be right back. And we now go straight to the presidency. President Bola Tinubu will embark on another international drive to attract more foreign direct investment into Nigeria. As he's scheduled to depart for Saudi Arabia this week, the president is to attend the Saudi Africa and Arab Africa summits, respectively, in Riyadh. Presidential advisor on media and publicity, Anjuri Ngelale, who briefed State House correspondents on the forthcoming trip, said President Tinubu, attending the Saudi Africa summit on 10th of November, where issues of counter-terrorism, environment, agriculture, and many other areas of mutual concern will be discussed towards accelerating the trade volume between Saudi Arabia and Africa. He will also participate in the Arab Africa Summit the following day.
His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in his capacity not just as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but also as the Chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of Government, will be taking part in the summit, ensuring that he is at the forefront of advocating for really a deepening partnership of the two regions, that is the League of Arab Nations as well as the African Union, with respect to how we can integrate in terms of our infrastructure, how we can facilitate the establishment of a new high-speed train network that would tie Arab nations from the Middle East to Northern Africa to the rest of the African continent. Certainly, His Excellency, Mr. President, is passionate about any area in which we can really leverage on the massive population and market that not just Africa presents, but that Nigeria itself presents.
The presidential spokesman also speaks on the potential and personal gains for Nigeria.
We are expecting that the outcomes of this summit will lead to very tangible results with respect to an increase in trade between not just the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, but all Arab nations, and especially the leading economies in Africa, of which Nigeria is now number one. So we believe there's a lot to be gained from these two summits. His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to do everything he can to reinvigorate the Nigerian economy through the instrumentation of his participation, his leading participation in these two important summits.
Now to religious matters. God is too faithful to fail those that come to him and will continue to do things that are beyond their expectations. These were the words that resonated at today's church service. Our correspondent has more on that. These are hearts filled with gratitude, praising and thanking God for his infinite mercy and blessing throughout the year. This harvest and thanksgiving service at the First Baptist Church, Kubwa, is their way of giving back to God for all he has done in their lives. Speaking on the theme, Beyond Me, Reverend Dogara Gwana enjoins Christians to imbibe the spirit of thanksgiving, irrespective of their battles and struggles in life.
What God has in store for us is beyond the challenges we are facing, is beyond even the leaders we are having expectations from. God can only use them. And so we should put our trust and our hope more in God knowing that He has the capacity to take us out of the challenges and bring us into His experience.
Know that as a people, even as a nation, we have gone through the ups and downs of the year. But in spite of all this, God has proven Himself faithful.
For God to surprise us and bless us and make this a reality is beyond human comprehension.
And speaking on the topic, spiritual productivity, Pastor Stephen Oyelola of the Cherubim and Seraphim Movement Church Worldwide, Dakibiu, says Christians should make good use of the spiritual gifts given to them by God.
God expects His child to bring back to the kingdom. He wants His kingdom to expand, and He wants every child of God to be able to contribute to the upliftment of His kingdom.
The atmosphere was electrifying with praise and worship to God, the giver of all lives. May we all be productive in the Lord's vineyard. Similarly, the need to remain in gratitude to the source of life and giver of success to all humans has been emphasized as worshippers of Good Tidings Bible Church, Utako, Abuja, marked 19 years of God's amazing wonders. Charity Zaka covered the event and brought back this report.
Testimonies, praise, were given in turns by worshippers at Good Tidings Bible Church, telling of God's faithful deeds in their lives as the church marked its 19th anniversary.
I was sad as a human being. I cried, but I had to move on.
The senior pastor states that with God's backing to whoever He has called to ministry work, God backs it up.
Every commission that God is backing, He does all the work. So I got in there, and then there was a crowd. And since that day till now, it has been one level of blessing to the other.
Other worship
Expanding our relationship with the population.
This year has just been awesome. This year has been mind-blowing, and I trust and I know that God has just started, and Good Tidings Bible Church International is going places.
Just like yesterday. And we thank God for His mercies that is enduring in this assembly. More blessings.
praise and dance offering was steered with the church band taking the lead.
May God give us the grace to show gratitude at all times. Meanwhile, theology is the study of divinity of the Word of God and how it affects lives of men and women called into the fold by God. And as such, the world needs good Bible teachers and efficient spiritual leaders. This is the main point of idea at the 15th graduation ceremony of Christ Apostolic Church Theological Seminary, Ile-Ife, Abuja campus. Moses Kuyi has more.
A lot is expected from these theologians as they need to adequately study to be approved as the Holy Bible have buttressed. This is evident as seen at the 15th graduation convocation ceremony of Christ Apostolic Church Theological School.
I'm not stopping here because we're being told that learning is continuous. A moment you stop learning, then you are a dead man.
Just about to go out to preach, even your own character is enough to preach to people.
The graduates are in three categories: the certificate, the diploma, and the degree students. They are not just excited and fulfilled, but it is also an occasion that has brought them a step closer to the most cherished life ambition they have been dreaming about. One will be curious to ask, what are the cogent lessons learned during the seminary?
By the grace of God, the mind of Jesus Christ is what I want to follow. Preaching of gospel and affecting people positively so that the name of God will be glorified and the society will be improved in all ramifications.
The world today needs men of God, individuals who have dedicated their lives to serving and seeking God, men not just called but also filled with the spirit and total knowledge of God, ready to serve humanity.
My advice to the graduates of today is that all they have learned, they should keep that in mind and be a useful vessel and turn things around. They should be a blessing to their church, to the nation, and to the entire society.
In the busy road of their lives, we need to equip Christian leaders
take home is the need for them to abide by the lessons they have learned so far, as people who can inculcate good morals and high spiritual standards to their followers, which invariably brings a better society.
Congratulations to the graduates. And away from religion, residents of FCDA area in Karu, Abuja Municipal Area Council, are not comfortable with the lack of potable drinking water supply in their area. They appeal passionately to the appropriate authorities whose responsibility is to improve on this infrastructure to come to their aid. Hadiza Godwin Ebune tells us more.
For over 6 weeks now, residents of FCDA Karu in Abuja Municipal Area Council have had to patronize water vendors, popularly known as Merua. A visit to the area shows also that residents are also in dire need of electricity.
Over 6 weeks now that we've not had water supplies. If we add the previous week before water came last at all, it will be about 8 weeks. Because we were out of water for about 7 days, and then water came one day. We were all rejoicing. Everybody started opening their taps and everything to fetch, only to discover that what was coming there was more of a gutter, a mud everywhere, and it has never happened before. We were all shocked. In fact, like in my case, I had fetched up to half of my tank. And when I discovered it, I just have to come and open it and start pouring because it's of no use to anybody.
For the past 8 weeks, we've been suffering. Every morning, we have to file out with our children to get waters because these popular Merua sellers, they are not helping matter. A truck that we normally buy previously at the rate of 200 naira, now they are selling 1,800 naira. And you know, for a household of, let's say 7 or 8, even a truck will not do in a day. So all the whole salary we are getting ends up in this water or something. And we'll be crying out to water board to no avail.
They should come to our aid and help us. Some people have talked about the light. Yes, the light has been 6-8 weeks. No light. I mean, no water. And but the light is epileptic. Same problem. This road, 18 years, we have been on it. We can't continue to be like this.
The residents also complained that the FCT Water Board issued a public notice that did not contain any explanation as regards the sudden seizure of water supply.
Even though the Merua, they are now charging us 1,000, 1,500 per truck in a tin of 12 or 14. So depending about how many they are buying. From there, the borehole and the water is not good.
Individuals did interlocking on the roads to ensure that the place is okay. But the government agents or the contractors came and removed all the interlocks, and that created big gullies. If we go from at the end of this road by the mosque coming this way, you will see that if you look at the houses, you see all the interlocks packed beside the houses. Those interlocks were removed to make the road or to reconstruct the road.
FCT Water Board has declined speaking on the issue after several overtures to clarify the cause of the scarcity supply of water to the area.
I hope the relevant authority will heed to the cry of this community. There is this perception by outsiders that some residents of the Federal Capital Territory portray a fake lifestyle and in most cases live above their means. Do you share the same perception? Well, curious about this, I sought opinions.
Are you being true to yourself and the values you hold most dear? Or are you spending your precious time trying to be who others say you need to be, do what others say you need to do by pretending to be who you are not? These are traits outsiders claim many residents of the FCT portray. Abuja, the nation's capital, is viewed as an expensive city with high cost of rent and transportation, which many average Nigerians cannot afford. Many claim that, despite the high cost of living, some residents of the FCT are not being true to themselves as they struggle to pay rent, put their children in expensive schools, drive flashy cars, all in a bid to belong, while debts keep accruing. But how true is this?
The young generation are also running away from the reality of life. They don't have patience to wait for their time. That subjects a lot of Nigerian youth into unnecessary lifestyle that are not supposed to be ordinarily. Some youths delve into criminality, some into prostitution because they are living larger or they want to live like somebody who started 30, 40 years ago.
Of course, there are people living fake lives. That one is certain. You could see that there are some people, they can't afford a particular accommodation. They just want to be among the big shots. So, and then some people believe that you have to live in the city, in the heart of the city. Even though they can't afford it, they'll go to any extent to make sure that they get that money. Some people, you see them wear things, they just want to belong to the group. They borrow, they do all sorts of things to just make sure they get used to that lifestyle.
Many people are there. In fact, I've encountered a lot of them. When you approach you like this, you think, no, they have. By the time you get closer to them, you know that, no, they are not actually exactly what they are.
There are people that is their way. They have chosen, no matter how you advise them, they have chosen to live that way. And the only things that can help, everybody should have the fear of God.
However, it seems to be the case of different strokes for different folks.
So is there any fake human being? That's the question I will ask you. If there is fake human being, how do they look like? So my perception that there is fake people in Abuja, I disagree.
Although most times people want to craft a unique or cool image about themselves, but many pointed out that living a fake life is like borrowing from one's account or eating junks where you cannot get enough. As no matter how much you eat of junk food, it is not satisfying.
The National Orientation Agency has celebrated one of its finest officers, Kehinde Ogunkaude, as he bows out of service. The sent-forth party attracted both past Director General and staff of the agency. Sarafina Oko-Mekwe reports.
Staff of the agency, in celebrating their icon, said Kehinde Ogunkaude Martins is a man of integrity and impeccable character. In attendance was the former Director General of the agency, Michael Mary, the newly appointed DG Malam Lanre Issa Onilu, and past board members. They thanked the celebrants for holding forth for the nation selflessly. Mr. Kehinde, who they said is an astute administrator par excellence, joined the services of the Directorate of Social Mobilization and Economic Recovery, which was later changed to National Orientation Agency, and has served in various capacities up until his retirement as Director of Human Resources Management.
Just barely a week we've spent together. I've seen a lot that shows me why they all love him.
Kehinde himself was like... had a lot of institutional memories that he was willing to share with everyone. Our staff loved him because he was also in charge of the cooperative, which had all the staff on it. And from time to time, even no matter your level of indebtedness, if you had a need, Kehinde would always look into your issues to see how he could solve it.
Actually, I'm not surprised. I've had the opportunity to be seeing this from birth. He has always been a mentor to all of us.
I'm indeed grateful to God for this benefit, for his greatness, for what he has done for me and for my family.
The high point of the day was the presentation of certificates of service by management on recognition of his outstanding and selfless contributions to the agency.
think he was somebody who was very willing to learn. And that is why he has been able to learn and has become a professional, someone who knows his onions. You can see that is the reason he's been celebrated today. My wish for him is to have good health, long life, and something productive to keep him.
Found himself first as a maintenance officer, maintaining vehicles and tools that will facilitate the movement of mobilizers, of orientators, and finally found himself in the human resource department, where he was actually managing the human capital base of the agency.
All his focus is how to take National Orientation Agency with greater heights, and we all love him for that. And I want to thank God for a day like this. Me, as a deputy director, I served under him. He's a man that is very meticulous.
Cutting off the cake and stepping out on the dance floor with every sense of fulfillment. Special renditions and songs and prayers the staff could only offer as they wish him all the best in his future endeavors.
Living 70 is a great blessing from God, where life expectancy is put at 53. 46 of this year's fully committed to service in the Lord's vineyard is no doubt an experience and story of faith, spirituality, and sacrifice. This is the testimony of the man many describe as distinctive, Reverend Johnson Rogo, the rector, Life College of Theology, Abuja, who just retired from active service at 70. Abdullah Ajia captured moments of the celebration in Abuja.
This ambience and venue were carefully designed in honor of a man of God, Reverend Justin Rogo, who also holds a doctorate degree in theology. He is retiring from active ministration and tutelage of the scriptures for more than 4 decades at age 70. With a story full of lessons and spiritual guidance, family members, friends and associates who registered their presence extolled the glowing attributes of a man of many parts and exemplary qualities.
He has done a lot for the ministry, and my heart desire is that the Lord will continue to be with him, the Lord will continue to strengthen him.
At his prime, praise and worship were replete as the congregation thanked God for mercy upon the life of the celebrant.
Because it's only in God that we can become whatever we want to be in life. And so without God, nobody can go far. So he needs God and must continue with God.
He has always led us in the way of Christ. First thing first, I can remember while growing up, before you come to meet him to ask for anything, he will ask you, have you prayed? Have you asked God?
In God, that I might be able to do whatever he asks me to do. In the course of following God and doing his will, if he permits, I will go into the writing of books.
As one chapter closes in the life of Reverend Justin Rogo, another one opens at retirement in good health and spiritual wealth.
Let's now bring you entertainment news.
And entertainment news this week, which is a line of movies. The first story begins as Jacknet grew up weird and didn't feel like a normal person. To bring the stories in his head to life, he was the child who talked loudly to himself to the fascination him at the genesis of Battle on Booker Street, Nollywood's highest grossing film of all time. Only one was intended. I did not set out to write a direct to vilify anybody. The goal was not to say everybody in the church is bad, but to show that 23. Similarly, in the movie scene, but to the scary aspect, a date is set for viewers to go back to unraveling the mythical mystery. Netflix horror title The Origin, Madam Koi Koi is set to drop. The awakens after being forgotten for decades to seek vengeance on a community that must pay the ultimate price. Set between 1971 and 1991, the second installment of The Origin, Madam Koi Koi is scheduled to premiere on November 7, 2023. And the faith-themed film tells the story of a man who has lost his sense of purpose until an encounter with a young man changes his life and destiny. An inspirational story about life and destiny where one must live. Chimezie Imo, Bimbo Manuel, Tina Mba, Demola Adedoyin, Sam Dede, and a host of others. The theme of this year's AfriF is Indigenous 2.0 Global. The theme of this year's AfriF is Indigenous 2.0 Global, and the festival will run from November 5th to November 11th, exhibiting dozens of films.
Up next is Weekly News Wrap. You are watching Weekly News Wrap on NTA Channel 5. I am Sandra Akeme. Now, let's take a look at President Tinubu's activities during the week. President Tinubu declared open the 2023 Cabinet Retreat for top functionaries at the State House, Abuja. The aim is to evaluate the performance of ministers and their permanent secretaries in their various ministries. And the National Executive presented a supplementary budget of about 2.2 trillion naira to the national. And similarly, the president called for peace in Bayelsa, Kogi, and Imo State ahead of the forthcoming governorship election. On week, Yasim Wike pledged timely completion of the renovation of the Abuja National Mosque and National Christian Ecumenical Center. And the minister has warned those propelling the social media propaganda against his person to desist from such acts. And away from that, the AMAC chairman, Christopher Zaka, awarded scholarship. And finally, the Chief Judge of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Justice Hussein Baba Yusuf, identified inadequate facilities as a hindrance to effective justice delivery. Thank you for staying with us on this week's Weekly News Wrap. News continues. Let's join the sports desk for Sports Brief.
Nigeria's Ife Ajagba secured a fourth-round knockout win against Australia's heavyweight boxer Joe Goodall on Saturday night. It was a revenge victory for Ajagba, who lost to Goodall via split decisions at the Glasgow 2014 Commonwealth Games. Ajagba, 29, has now extended his professional record to 19-1.
And that wraps up the program this week. Join us next week for another interesting package. I am Mariam George Jitubo.